The Bristell is a light sport aircraft. It is available in ELSA for experimental, or regular LSA as well, or SLSA as it's commonly known as. And the one behind us here is ELSA. And the difference really is just how it gets certified when it comes into the United States and what you're able to do with it later on. The ELSA versions allow you to go IFR if you are properly equipped with the required FAA regs, as this one behind us is. So we have 32 gallons worth of fuel, 16 roughly per side, and we burn about 4 gallons an hour worth of automotive gasoline on grade 93 or above, and it also can run on the 100 low lead. So we can also do any kind of mix. So for people in the Northeast, this time of year, we do a mix of avgas and autogas in the engine. So it is kind of a myth that LSA is prevented from doing IFR traffic or IFR flight. An experimental or an ELSA like the one behind us, any experimental airplane, whether a home-built airplane or the Bristell, as long as it meets the requirements of 91205 and can meet all the instrument requirements and has certified avionics, it can operate in the IFR system legally. So once you make an airplane experimental, you're able to make changes to the POH as you seem fit with regards to what the airplane can do, and you could take equipment out, put new equipment in, as long as you make notations in the aircraft logs. Once you throw the experimental in there, the limitations of LSA go away. It's just whatever limitations there are on the equipment that's on board. So you can remove this propeller, put a different type on, you could change the engines out, you could change the avionics equipment out, you can change the seating configuration, you can do anything really once you're in the experimental category. When the wing lockers came about, the thought process was, where can we put stuff that's not just in the fuselage to keep stuff safe and secure? So our wing lockers are about 99% watertight. So in flight, if you're in rain or any kind of precipitation that you may run across, you can fly safely knowing that your contents will not get damaged or destroyed that are on board. With the evolution of light sport, and specifically the Bristell, this airplane has higher equipment in terms of capabilities than that of a standard 172 or 152, and also the cost. The cost is a huge proponent. If I could buy a brand new plane out of Cessna for over $250,000, and I can buy one like this, and I've got all the bells and whistles here, it makes sense to fly in the light sports setup. This airplane's demonstrated crosswind alone is 15 knots, similar to that of a 172. So our performance characteristics allow you to fly and learn in a great airplane like this, and we have a lot of useful load too, so we can use it in a training environment and be able to comfortably carry fuel, passengers, and cargo. So one of the huge selling features of the Bristell is, because of the construction of it, it is actually 100 pounds less gross empty weight than our competitors. So the plane here is about 780, 790 pounds only because of the additional avionics. Our normal airplanes coming off the factory line with the basic stuff, you're going to have almost a 600 pound useful load. So as a reminder, the LSA max is 1320. That's putting the empty gross weight here at about 700 pounds, where a lot of our competitors are at 800 pounds. This is the base, 912 ULS engine. We are capable and have multiple airplanes flying the 912 IS fuel-injected engine. We have airplanes out in the Midwest and in Colorado and those areas flying the 914, and we will be flying the 915. One of the unique things again about Bristell is that our airplane is one of the few light sports that can carry many different types of engines. A lot of them are limited to just the basic Rotax because of weight. So having that low gross empty weight allows us to increase the engine size, change out propellers, and have a performance type propeller here so that we get more performance out of the airplane. We have a very high service ceiling of up at above 13,000. So when you look at it and you're going in the Colorado Rockies and the mountains, although we, with this airplane here, can climb well past 500 feet per minute comfortably, when you're in the mountains and stuff like that, you want that extra engine performance, you want that extra climb propeller and things like that in those 914s. The 915 is a unique engine that Rotax came out with that has the ability to actually change blade angles. So one of the big things is, in light sport, they never wanted any kind of propeller control, and with the 915 and the M&T prop that would be along with it, it allows for an automatic blade control through the Rotex engine, so there is no internal cockpit control. So we're expecting to have that in an ELSA version later this year. Our airplanes are available to get the Behringer brake system. So Behringer, the nice thing about Behringer brakes is they have hand and they have toe brakes. You can go either option. This one here is a hand brake. The great thing about Behringer brakes is they're anti-lock and anti-skid. So anybody who's ever flown with a student or has accidentally landed with the brakes on with these hand brakes, that goes out the window. You don't have to worry about flat spots. You don't have to worry about flat tires anymore. You don't have to worry about accidentally landing with the brakes on. So it's a really nice option that is available for Bristells to be added on to. We actually tend to shy owners away from getting the parachute system. The parachute system is a nice, feel-good luxury. The bad part about a parachute in an LSA is it adds a lot of weight. And our airplane's performance build and our glide ratios are comparable to those of 152s, 172s. So when we talk about glide ratios and we're doing a 65 knot glide in an engine failure, the parachute and your ability to control the airplane here with this airplane is one of the big reasons we recommend usually not to do the parachute add-on, because of the increased cost, the increased weight, and that takes down on your useful load, which is one of the reasons people love Bristell. So Avionics, you can have a second G3X touchscreen. We can have a Garmin G5 backup PFD system. We have the Val Navcom 2000s. We can put GTN 650s in. We could put a GNC 507 autopilot in. So right now, the autopilot can be controlled solely through the G3X, or with the addition of the 507 panel, you can control it in a secondary motion right there on the console. So we have a lot of different avionics options that we can add. We can even put in a Garmin 796 if a customer wants. This airplane right now, as is able to fly an IFR, but it is not a slash Gulf, meaning it does not have an IFR certified GPS, but it is a slash uniform, so it's able to fly ILS, VOR approaches. It will soon actually be upgraded to a slash Gulf and have a Garmin 650 on board. We can use this plane through the owners who own it because it's an ELSA. ELSA though cannot be used on a commercial basis, so you couldn't open a flight school with a bunch of ELSAs to do it. But there's certain requirements in the IFR regulations that only one flight must be accomplished on an IFR flight plan. So we actually are utilizing the Bristell in our school and have that option down the road that people will be able to train IFR in our Bristells with the exception of that one requirement, which we will accomplish in another airplane. Right now we've just opened up recently the Sebring Flight Academy down in Sebring, Florida. That was just at the Sebring Air Show as well, where we are doing flight training in it for Light Sport CFI, and we'll eventually be doing for private instrument commercial as well. We also utilize another Bristell at one of our sister companies, flight schools located about 15 miles from here. We get all different types of owners. We get high-end businessmen and people just looking for a weekend thing to own and own their own airplane affordably. This one is actually owned as part of a share program. There are 6 shareholders in the plane, and they each own and have the right to fly the airplane a certain number of hours per year. A lot of our owners, though, will buy the airplane straight outright and have it for themselves in their own personal use. In terms of a cost perspective, the nice thing about Light Sport, and especially of a Rotex engine, is, for example, a spark plug. Our spark plugs are $3. Our annuals are about $1,000. So when you're talking about a maintenance cost where an annual may cost you $2,000 to $3,000 before parts, here we've got $1,000. It's a much lower cost. It can be stored in smaller hangars, so this one's here is stored in a hangar with a few other planes, but you can have your own independent hangar as well. We highly recommend you keep the airplane hangared to ensure its beauty as long as possible. So our base airplane is 159-719. It comes with one Garmin G3X 10.5-inch screen, and the radio is equipped as well as part of it. If you want to add an additional screen like the one behind us, you're looking at about another $10,000 to $11,000. And then you're looking at additional upgrades if you wanted to do 650, a G5, and things like that, the additional autopilot. Autopilot's going to run you about $4,000 for the base model. That's the one operable through the G3X, and about $7,000 for the one that's operable additionally through the panel, that GNC 507. The US market is available in the tail dragger option, but tail draggers, we recommend people who are pretty well experienced in tail draggers before we kind of they consider the tail draggers. Most of our customers who have purchased in the US market have purchased just a standard tricycle gear. So you can go onto our website, thelandingdoctor.com, and get information, as well as Bristell. Check out our Facebook page, Bristell or BMRM Arrow. And additionally, we recommend that you check out our flight schools pages of Mid-Island Air Service and New York Jet. Those are additional sister companies who have done work with the Bristell.